So we were asked by the local authorities to talk about the issue that we're having with the local fish population and other wildlife that have been mysteriously passing away. So we did a test in local waters, and it comes to find out that they have been um, polluted with brevetoxins. Now, brevetoxins are a chemical, however, they are a natural made chemical. Um, and we'll go over how brevetoxins are made, how they affect not only the fish and wildlife, but how they also affect humans, and how we can stay safe, how we can possibly, you know, make people aware of what's going on. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to prevent brevetoxins because it is a naturally occurring chemical, and it's made from algae. However, the best thing that we can do is to spread awareness. So here we go. We're going to talk about brevetoxins. So brevetoxins are a group of neurotoxic compounds. They are tasteless and they are odorless. They're produced by a species of dinoflagellates known as Carina brevis. You can also find them labeled as the red tide. In this top right-hand corner, you will see the microorganism Carina brevis. In the bottom left-hand corner, you will see the chemical compound for Carina brevis. And also brevetoxins. So here on the left-hand side, along the coast of Florida, you will see this sign pretty commonly, especially right now because we are having an outbreak of this red tide. So caution, red tide present, may cause eye, throat, or skin irritation, may cause sneezing, avoid the beach if you have asthma or other respiratory conditions, onshore winds and rough surf worsen its effect. Red tide is caused by naturally occurring algae, can kill fish and other sea animals. Do not swim near dead fish or touch them. Wear shoes to prevent injuries from stepping on bones or dead fish. On the right here, you will see what brevetoxins or red tide looks like in the ocean. So how do fish come into contact with brevetoxins? Like we just discussed, the red tide. Red tide is a harmful algae bloom that is made up of the organism called Carina brevis, which can kill sea life. And the red tide is present in Florida waters right now. Obviously, it's making its way into our waters. When you see the red tide, it can appear greenish brown or reddish orange and can have the smell of dead fish because obviously it's killing the local fish. Since brevetoxins are made by the same organism that creates the red tide, fish living in this algae bloom would automatically pick up more brevetoxins than normal. So you have to think when fish are breathing, they pick up their oxygen from water, and they have no other way of getting their oxygen. So brevetoxins are automatically in the water from this algae bloom, so the fish are just constantly breathing in these brevetoxins. So they have no way to avoid it. And when they're breathing these in, it attacks their nervous system, it attacks their brain function, it attacks their gastrointestinal system, so they're just constantly being hammered by brevetoxins basically throughout their entire body. Brevetoxin can be inhaled, it can be absorbed through your skin, and it can be taken in orally. Gastrointestinal symptoms, abdominal pain, vomiting, diarrhea, neurological symptoms, paresthesia, vertigo, ataxia. Respiratory exposure may cause cough, dyspnea, and bronchospasms. So here you can see we have the different systems that it affects. On the left-hand side, we have our respiratory system. In the middle, we have our nervous system. In the right-hand corner, we have our digestive system. And I'll just give you a few seconds to look over that. So aside from the fish, who do brevetoxins affect? Humans. Humans eat fish. Humans eat mollusks and crabs and all these other things that live in the same area that these brevetoxins are present. Aquatic life, aside from the fish, you have the dolphins, the crustaceans, the mollusks, the manatees, the seagrasses. And then you have your wildlife, you have your seabirds and whatever eats the seabirds. So it's just a constantly rotating circle. Here on the left-hand side, you can see fish washing up on the shore. You can see the sea turtles that have been affected by brevetoxins. On the right-hand side, you can kind of see a little chart, a little flow chart, if you will. So you have your phytoplankton, which contains your toxins. Your zooplankton eat those phytoplankton. The herring or small fish eat your zooplankton. Your salmon or other slightly larger fish eat your herring or small fish. Your large mammals like whales and dolphins and humans and birds eat your salmon and other slightly larger fish, and it's just a constant rotation of toxicity. So brevetoxins bind to voltage-gated sodium channels, membrane proteins that allow the flow of sodium ions through the cell's plasma membrane, generating an action potential, which is essentially electrical current across the cell, which keeps them activated. The constantly open sodium channel allows sodium ions to flow freely through the cell membrane, allowing nerves and muscles to spontaneously fire as if in a constantly excited state. So brevetoxins cause problems with the basic functioning mechanism of nerves. Nerves operate through changes in electrical charge through a sodium-potassium pump. Ordinarily, these pumps would maintain a slight negative charge inside the cell relative to the outside. However, the nerve cells fire by allowing sodium ions into the cell and increase the relative charge, generating electricity and creating an action potential. Brevetoxins bind these sodium channels and allow for an unmitigated flow of sodium ions into the nerve cells. And that is what I have to say about brevetoxins. Unfortunately, like I said, due to the fact that brevetoxins are made naturally, there's nothing we can do to control the population of brevetoxins. There's nothing we can do to control how brevetoxins are released into the ocean or the water supply. The best thing we can do is spread awareness, post signs, make sure that people are aware that brevetoxins are in the water, make sure fishermen know not to fish in the areas where brevetoxins are present, and hopefully we can kind of mitigate the fact that the algae blooms are growing because of things like waste runoff and things that humans do, but not necessarily, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, it's just kind of one of those things that humans may or may not have a part in. So there's nothing we can do, but there might be something we can do. It's just there needs to be more studies done because brevetoxins are becoming more and more of a problem. So as time goes on, we'll get to the bottom of brevetoxins. And that's all I have for you guys.